Hello, my dear viewers. My name is Perumal Jagan. I'm so happy to welcome you to my YouTube channel. It's been a while since we heard learning the Windows fundamentals. So why don't we do that? Stay tuned. It's going to be fourth video of my Windows fundamentals series. I'm going to share some exciting, useful concepts which might be useful to you while dealing with Windows systems. Let's do that. The topic I'm going to explain is service and process in operating system. You can take any operating system, either Windows, Linux or Mac. There must be some processes running at the back end. I'll tell you what the service is. A service is nothing but a certain activity or an action sequence running at the back end, which helps to do our task on the machine. And to be frank, the machine is running. I'm able to see the screen and I'm able to access any applications that I want because of some backend service which is running at the backend. Let's say I'm connecting to network. I'm connecting to internet. I'm able to connect because the network service is running at the backend. And I'm able to log in by entering the username and password because there is a service which regulates the user logins. And I'm able to log any sort of actions that I'm performing on this machine because the Windows diagnostic service running at the backend. And my machine is up to date with the security patches because of the Windows update service running at the backend. I'm not doing the manual update in Windows. You might not noticed as a regular user, every time whenever the Microsoft releases security patches, the Windows update service sync with the Microsoft server and it gets the adequate patches. So everything happening at the backend, you may not aware what are the actions happening. Rather than giving the verbal statement, let me showcase the services running in this machine. This machine is fresh. I haven't opened any applications and just logged into this machine. But if we analyze in depth, we will be able to witness so many services running in the backend. So let me showcase those services using Service Control Manager. You can access it either by clicking these services directly or in Run. You may enter services.msc to open the Service Control Manager. Yes, this is the window which contains list of services running in the machine. And you can see the columns, the service name, service description. Each and every service has a purpose. So that is defined here briefly, and the status of each service and its startup type. I said many backend processes running without our knowledge because those services started automatically during the boot sequence of the machine. So we are not starting it manually. I can simply sort that. I just sorted the automated services at the top. These are the services started automatically without our intervention, manual intervention during the startup. You can see some interesting services here. You can see the service called Power. If I open, I'll be able to showcase what it is. Manages power policy notification and delivery. If the battery is going to dead, if the battery is getting down and the machine is going to dead, we are getting the notification because of this. And also it has its service name and display name, both are different, and its description, path to executable. You can see most of the services present in this Windows System 32 folder, because this is the folder contains crucial files which is mandatory to run Windows operating system. And from this path, it fetches the file called svchost.exe. This is the executable executed by this particular service. And also the service is currently running. If I click these tabs, I'll be able to understand so many things about this process. If I click log on tab, I can see which is the account used to log in, used to authenticate this particular service. It's local system account. I'll explain the accounts very soon. And if we go to recovery, there are few options: first failure, second failure, subsequent failure, and reset file count after. What it is? In case this particular service fails, these are the action sequence that needs to be performed. In case of the failure for the first time, then it restarts the computer, which is very critical service. So it restarts the computer itself during the failure. And also other three actions you can see here: take no action, restart the service alone, and run a program. So these are the actions that taken during the failure. And you can also enable actions for stops with error. Whenever the particular process, particular service stops with error in certain situations, then we can check and we can define what has to be done. What needs to be the action we can mention here. And also we can run a certain program. I think this is faded out. We can mention a particular program here. We can browse and we can brought a particular file, and we can execute that file also during the failure of the certain process in error conditions. And you may ask, as an ethical hacker or a penetration tester, what am I going to do with this? You need to understand one thing. This is very, very crucial whenever you are trying to escalate privileges on a Windows machine. Let me say, if you go here in general, I'll be able to see the path to executable. If you find, in the machine you are dealing with, if you find any service which is running unwantedly with some elevated privileges, then we can manipulate this particular path, and you will be able to exploit this. You will be able to execute your own code here, and you will be able to escalate the privilege. So that is the important part of the service, so which is very critical. So you need to understand what's happening here. And also I saw the recovery. I showcased the recovery. Now when I move to dependencies tab, I'll be able to see the list of dependent services. One particular service can be dependent on other services as well. In this case, it is not dependent, but if you see few other services, you may witness that. Let me showcase other services as well. Let me showcase the Windows audio. I'll be able to listen from this machine if I play some audio files or video files because of this service. Again, you can open the service. You will be able to see what is the file. Manages audio for Windows based programs. If the service stopped, audio service and effect will not function properly. If the service disabled, any service that explicitly depends on it will fail to start. Let me check the log on. Here I can see it works based on the local service, and there is a password. I need to say one more thing here. When you are in an enterprise environment, you might heard the term service account. What is service account? For example, let me say an employee is working in a company who is a system admin, and he is using his own credential to run the critical DHCP service on a Windows server, which acting as a DHCP server for the whole enterprise network. Let's say that employee is leaving the organization, and the credential, I mean that his credential used for the DHCP services remains same. At a certain time, after the credential expiry or some other scenario, the DHCP service may get failed. When you try to troubleshoot that, you might find the DHCP service is using an individual's credential. So in that case, you might be in trouble. You may not be able to fix that, or uh, it might be causing you some trouble, some huge trouble. So that is why for a critical services, an enterprise would use service account. So they are using service account for that. So that is the purpose of it. If it is a critical service, if it is an enterprise machine, they might have used service account and the password here. And also you can witness the restart option here, I mean recovery option here. This service only restarts that service alone rather than restarting the whole machine, like we witnessed in the earlier showcased service. And dependency, it depends on RPC, remote procedure call service, and Windows audio endpoint builder. Each and every operations that is happening at the back end is running a service. DHCP client. So if I open this, I can see the startup type is automatic. My machine getting the IP addresses automatically during the startup because of this particular service. And if I click the logon, there is a credential, and recovery, it restarts that particular service. And also there are few dependencies, and these are the services depends on this particular DHCP, and the DHCP depends on these services. So this is all about the system, I mean the service control manager. It's a beautiful GUI, and also rather than controlling the services in GUI, we can also use command line. So I'll showcase few other PowerShell commands. By using that, we will be able to search for a specific service, we will be able to modify its actions, whatever we are doing at the GUI, we will be able to perform the same by using the command line. So let me showcase that as well. Now I'm in the PowerShell window, and I'm gonna use a commandlet called get service. This is the commandlet, and I need to mention the name. The name contains a word called network. I'm going to filter those services alone. Nothing is showing here. Display. So no services running with the name network. This particular machine is offline now. Okay, let me grab the service name here, DNS cache. So I'm gonna use get service name. It shows that particular service and also its status. It is just a brief overview. I mean, it's just briefly showing each and every service and its status. I'm also able to view the required services for this DNS cache. It shows the service which is required for this DNS cache, and there is another command. So by using this command, I'm going to show the detailed view of first two running services. So that is what I mentioned here. The status is equal to running, and I am selecting first two alone, and I am fully listing that. You can see the detailed view of that particular service. A service called app info, it is running. Service dependencies, dependent services are none. Service type, it shows the detailed view of that particular service. So you can able to perform all the actions that we are performing at GUI by using this powerful PowerShell command. And also they are classifying these services in three categories: local service, local system service, and network service. You can see the type of service here. I'm just showing a network service here. I highlighted that, cryptographic services. If I open that, it is classified as network service and its respective password. And also I can also open some local system service which is using local system account. And let me showcase one local service. This is a local service, and it is using local service account. You can see how many services running at the backend. Till now I've been explaining what is service. Now we're gonna see what is process. Process is also almost same as service. It's a background action, an action which is running at the backend, and it can be manually started, or it can be triggered by an application, or it can be automatic, which is essential to run an operating system. Let me showcase what are all the services running. For that, I'm opening the task manager in Windows machine. In task manager, when you open very first tab, you will see processes. It lists the processes running. I opened the task manager. That is a process. So it created a process called task manager. And I can also see some background processes. Anti-malware service executable, which is used in antivirus, Windows antivirus, and Cortana, a search engine. And if I scroll down, I'll be able to see multiple processes. Now let me open a particular application and see what is the change happening in this process. I opened Edge browser. I'm simply minimizing that. I can see a background process created for this browser. So you can see how many background processes created when I open a certain application. Like this, when you deal with any application, a background process is created, and also it consumes particular, it consumes certain amount of resources to access that particular application. And if I go to performance, I'll be able to see the CPU, memory, disk, and the network utilization. It simply shows the graph of the utilization statistics. And the app history, there is a tab, and there is a tab called startup. So when I start up, these are the applications opening by default. So without a manual intervention, these applications are opening. And if I go to users, I'm able to see my username, and under that I can see the list of processes running. the details tab gives each and every service, the name of the service, and name of the process, and the process ID it gives. So if you want to terminate a certain process, we need to use this particular, or not only termination, any actions that you are performing on a particular service, you can use the unique process IDs, and also the status of each and every process, the username, whether the process is running by the system or a particular user. It shows that. And as I said, each and every process consumes certain memory and CPU. And when I go to service tab, I'll be able to see the same services, same set of services here also. I can also see it in service control manager. I can also see it here. So this is what the service and process in Windows machine. Now let me tell you about another a file repository, an application repository. It's an internet repository which is available for everyone. If you have internet connectivity, you will be able to reach this repository and grab certain applications that you need. And the file share address is nothing but live.sysinternals.com/tools. You will be able to reach from anywhere if you are connected on internet. If I open this, you can see the list of applications available. These applications available on the internet. On this file share, you will be able to download a particular application. For example, I used a few of these applications which are very impressive to use. I'll showcase that. An application called TCP View. I'm clicking and running this application. Now we open the application. You can see this particular application displays each and every TCP connections established from our system. It also displays each and every application highlighted in a certain color. I can see the UDP sessions here. It's a UDP is a connectionless protocol, so it displays the UDP access as well, which is very interesting utility available for everyone. Now let me open another application called Process Explorer, PROCEXP 64-bit architecture, and my machine is 64-bit architecture, and I downloaded that. When I open that, you can see how beautiful the user interface is. It lists each and every process and the bytes, process ID, description, and its provider, and what is the CPU utilized by that particular process. I opened the browser. See, I opened the particular process. It created process for itself. And also we can perform certain actions on each and every process. So I hope you understand what is the use of this particular file share. It contains a lot of useful applications. As a penetration tester, ethical hacker, you must visit to this link and use this applications. Try to explore with each and every application which might be useful when you are doing penetration test. I'll attach this link in the description. You can refer. And yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Hope you really enjoyed this video. If you really learned something new from this, then don't hesitate to hit the like button, and you can also consider subscribing my channel. Share this video among your friends so that they can learn the fundamentals. And yeah, next time I'll reach you with another exciting video. So until then, I'm signing off. Take care. Love you guys.